So friends, we are drawing Dhalsim from the Street Fighter franchise. But before we jump in, hey, as always, I want to take a second and say thank you so much for coming back and watching these videos. And if it's your first time here, well, you know what to do. So it all started in 1987 with Capcom releasing Street Fighter. And it was a very humble beginning compared to the phenomenon it would turn into. Now, the original game just introduced Ken and Ryu, but it wasn't until 1991 with Street Fighter 2 that everything changed. The sequel revolutionized the fighting game genre completely with a unique character roster and a now iconic one-of-a-kind tournament-style formula. It brought global characters and unique fighting styles, each representing different parts of the world. Now, Capcom wanted each character to feel distinct and have its own fighting style and system, from personalities to nationality to design. And that is where Dhalsim enters the picture, the mystical warrior from India whose abilities and aesthetic would soon make him one of the most iconic characters in the Street Fighter franchise. Dhalsim was created by Akira Yasuda and Akira Nishitani, as well as help from the entire Capcom development team. So one of my favorite stories about the character design was that there was a restaurant called Doll's in Osaka, Japan, just outside the Capcom studios. And when the creators were eating there, they decided to take the word dal, meaning lentils, and shim, meaning hyacinth beans, and created Dhalsim. So, lentils and beans, anyone? From the start, the goal was to create a character that represented India, but also felt kind of otherworldly and even spiritual. His elongated limbs and fire-breathing ability made him visually and mechanically distinct from the rest of the cast. Now, the design pulled various stereotypes and mythologies, which has sparked a lot of discussions over the years, so this part's a little bit dark. So Dhalsim's necklace, those skulls were said to be from children who died in his village, representing both grief and a vow to never fight for personal gain. His yoga ability, fighting style, teleportation, and chanting also reinforced that pacifist turned reluctant warrior. Now, early on, he was envisioned as the yogi with powers, with stretchy limbs, a gameplay design that was inspired by the 1976 kung fu film Master of the Flying Guillotine, Hardcore Yoga. Now, the inspiration for his fire breathing, well, Capcom just said they wanted it to look cool. At first, when the video game initially launched, the myth was he ate so many hot curry and chili peppers that he could breathe fire, which was just silly. But then as the game evolved and grew, they retroactively changed the history that he had made a rare connection with a fire god that gave him the ability to breathe fire, which, I mean, that's just cool. Come on. Now let's talk about his fictional life. Dhalsim, or Dhalsima, was born in a quiet coastal village in India. And from a young age, he showed great signs of spiritual depth and focus. He studied under the greatest sages and gurus, learning not just the physical poses and techniques, but also a deep mental, spiritual discipline. And his entire early life is marked with peace, devotion, and a commitment to non-violence. However, his beautiful village comes under attack by none other than the evil empire known as Shadowloo, with its leader being the one and only M. Bison. And if you want to know more about M. Bison, go ahead and click that card at the top of the screen. As a result, is subjected to poverty and disease. And in order to raise enough money for medicine and medical supplies, Dhalsim reluctantly enters the underground fighting tournament. Yeah, okay, silly, but come on, it's a video game. Though he despises violence, he believed fighting could be the path to save others. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but out of selfless duty. He became the legendary Yogi Warrior. Through intense mental training and spiritual enlightenment, Dhalsim unlocks abilities that surpass human limits. Obviously, he could stretch his limbs and became a master of the yoga teleportation and yoga flexibility techniques. And of course, his yoga flame. Over time, Dhalsim's reputation grew, and he was invited to compete in the International Martial Arts Tournament, the World Warrior Tournament in Street Fighter. There he fought not to win, but again to save his village and awaken the hearts of those consumed by violence. And you'll see this throughout the entire franchise. Anytime any character is suffering any type of traumatic history, Dhalsim is there to walk them through working past that inner pain. And now, being entered into the World Warrior Tournament of Fighters, Dhalsim stands out as that slow-moving but incredible reach and zoning tools, meaning through his reach, his fire technique, his ability to control space on the battlefield was unmatched. And despite being a pacifist, his story in Street Fighter II was simple but powerful. A pacifist monk fighting for the well-being of his village. Despite his hatred for violence, he saw the tournament as a means to a higher ends. When you play through his story arc in the game, his ending shows him reuniting with his family, embracing his son and wife, and reaffirming his commitment to peace and family values. And that's what I really like about the character. He goes to war not for the hate in front of him, but for the love pushing behind him. But make no mistake, the designers at Capcom gave him a unique mechanical identity across all the games, from strong zoning to tricky teleportation and slow mobility. He is a classic example of high-risk, high-reward characters. Difficult to master, but deadly in the right hands. From humble village monk, to mystical warrior, to reluctant fighter, to spiritual teacher, Dhalsim's journey is one of purpose, sacrifice, and enlightenment. And now you know just a little bit more about Street Fighter character Dhalsim. Namaste. Well, friends, thank you again for your time. Thank you for your support. And if you haven't already, and if I've earned your support, please hit that subscribe, but most importantly, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon.